Former Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull is one of the people behind those efforts. He's in New York. Hi, Mr. Turnbull. Pleasure to have you back on the show.
Great to be with you.
There are a number of investigations taking place into what Russia is doing in Ukraine. Why is the tribunal you're proposing necessary from your perspective?
Well, because it's the only way we can really ensure that Vladimir Putin is held accountable for the crime of aggression. We will see, no doubt, over the next few years, a whole series of Russian commanders brought to justice in The Hague. But the only way we're going to see the man who actually orchestrated this shocking crime brought to account is through a tribunal of this kind that Gordon Brown and I and others are proposing.
And can you explain why that is the case?
Well, simply because the various other criminal procedures are not equipped to deal with the ultimate crime of aggression, which of course is for which the head of government, Vladimir Putin in this case, is responsible. Look, I mean, there are precedents for this. I mean, Canada and Australia, for example, are working with the Netherlands and Ukraine, of course, on the MH17 proceedings, which are going on in The Hague at the moment. That was commenced when I was PM of Australia. You've got the Kosovo proceedings. You've got the Sierra Leone proceedings against Charles Taylor. I think it is really important that the rule of law is maintained. I mean, what Putin has done is wantonly invade a sovereign nation, his neighbour, an independent nation, and he's done so with all of the ill intent and without any of the justification of previous dictators that have invaded other countries. Adolf Hitler being, an excellent example or a terrible example. So the bottom line is we need to hold him to account, and this is one way that it can be done.
Can I follow up on that and ask? I think if I think of even some of the examples that you've cited, there is a certain level of frustration that accountability never comes to bear, right? That even if, for example, they are convicted of a crime of aggression in this case, there might not ultimately be a consequence. How would you answer people who have those kinds of concerns here?
Well, it's a fair point to say that if Putin was convicted, how would he actually be brought to justice? Would he just, live out his days safe and secure in Russia? Well, he might. He might and he might not. But nonetheless, he has to be held to account. And I think he has to be seen to be held to account. We can't just say we are going to accept that the world is an environment where the strong do as they will and the weak suffer as they must. If our Western values mean anything, it means that the rule of law should be preserved. And just as the strong cannot trample on the rights of the weak in our societies, and at least that's what we should ensure does not happen. Equally, it should not happen in the international arena. That's what international law is all about. That's what, when we talk about the rules-based order, that's what we're talking about. I mean, this is Putin is reverted to a sort of an international law of the jungle, where the strong do as they will. He has been thwarted by the courage of the Ukrainian people. That it is their courage that is stopped him, and of course the West has been very supportive in terms of materials and weapons and so forth. But really, even if his endeavour fails, and we hope it does, he still needs to be held to account and be seen to be held to account.
I think, if I'm not wrong, I have read some statements of support for this endeavor from the foreign minister in Ukraine. And actually, just minutes ago, we interviewed the former president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, who highlighted this as something specifically that he would like to see as well. Can you help gauge for us the level of support you're getting, you and your colleagues are getting from other governments, let's say, or figures like that?
Well, I think the question, the jurisdiction, the legal jurisdiction that is, the primary source of this, of course, is Ukraine's. And what it does, the way this works legally, is that it delegates its authority to an international tribunal. Now, this could be constituted by a number of other nations, like we have done with the MH17 proceedings, Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, and others. It also could be done with an international organisation, like the Council of Europe would be an excellent one. The UN would be ideal too, but of course Russia would veto it. The EU could be a candidate, but it's quite possible it has to proceed on the basis of unanimity, and it's quite possible that Viktor Orban in Hungary will decide that his first loyalty is to Vladimir Putin. Now, the Council of Europe, which includes all European countries except Russia and Belarus, is one where a majority can proceed by way of majority vote. So the Council of Europe could be a good candidate. But I think what Ukraine is looking for now is leading, major countries, G20 countries like Canada, like Australia, like the UK, or the larger European countries, to show their support for this. I understand the Netherlands has offered to make the facilities being used for the MH17 proceedings available to undertake this inquiry and this trial, if you like. So I think there's plenty of potential there, but really, we talk about holding Vladimir Putin to account. This is one way it can actually be done.
Mr. Turnbull, I'll leave it there. I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.